now 7 o'clock. Welcome to the meeting of the Audit Committee. We came to another committee, I should leave. Right, the Audit Committee. The minutes of the last meeting, can I sign those?
Agreed.
Yes, we have some apologies from Councillor Ewan and Councillor Andrea Stanley substituting, also from Councillor Alex Whopping and from Mr. Harbour.
Right. Particularly like to thank Mr. Harbour and Deborah Lewis for being the independent members of this last year. It's been quite right within the way audit committees work, but we should have it definitely. Perhaps we could take it to Harbour. Any declaration of members' disposal of pecuniary interest and non-pecuniary interest? Shooting my life to say that Mr. Calvin is
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I think you perhaps it doesn't stop you being here, but I think you should mention.
Right, I'd like to declare on government based out of school.
Other questions on?
We have questions, yes.
Yes?
We do have questions.
That's not Mr. Dix, that's
It's additional.
it's additional, right? It's additional. You've got the time responses.
I have, thank you, Monroe. Yes, I did email you the supplementary, but you probably haven't had a chance to see them.
Well, I did as I looked out the door and pressed the button, it was printed off, but I haven't actually done more than that. We've got the answers here. The whole idea is that we use 30 minutes and to use it best, you ask your supplementaries and see where we go.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, does the chairman think this audit of the parking enforcement contract should have been carried out earlier, say 6 months after signing the contract?
Well, we did some work on the parking contract earlier on. It was actually in the first quarter. Did we do some on parking? We did in the first quarter. So there was something done. I mean, personally, I believe that parking is something which does excite a lot of people around the Borough of Barnet, and with hindsight, perhaps one should have done some work earlier. But I think you set out your work schedule for the year, and I think you've got to keep to it unless there's something that goes wrong. So I don't think, all things being equal, unless we had hindsight, we should have done the work earlier. But I do think it does show that there's work to be done.
Thank you. Okay, question 2. Does the chairman think that audit should be looking longer and harder at the 2 much larger contracts with Crapita, as they are, based upon other reports to this committee, suffering from similar woes, and I have heard of others, including, for example, failure to pay carers on time, tardy provision of retirement benefit details to retiring staff, and delays in issuing CPZ permits to residents and businesses.
Well, in the papers on page 93, we've got the overall approach to contract management, which is in there on page 93. Which is how we deal with those matters. It's always difficult being an opposition member who's chairman of the Audit Committee, because I was never very keen on the Crapita contract, and it's not secret. However, the Audit Committee just looks at the contracts that they are in the process, and that's what we do. I think it's the jury is out, and I think we have to see. I mean, I'm hoping for the benefit of the Borough of Barnet, if the contract goes well, and we all benefit, and there's lots of financial reward. I personally think a 10-year contract is something I would have entered into, but the administration decided to do it, and we have to wait and see. So I would say, Mr. Dishman, it's early days.
Okay, thank you. Does the chairman think that councillors should get their hands dirtier and see audit reports with a greater level of detail than the summaries which are currently presented, so that they get a fuller picture of what is going on?
I think any member of the Audit Committee that wanted to ask the internal or external audit staff for a more detailed report, they would be given it, because when I ask for it, I am given it. It doesn't necessarily mean it's part of what comes to the public committee, unless that committee member wants to bring it forward itself. So I think they are available. I see it. I think I would almost turn the question round and say that I don't think councillors need to get their hands dirty, but what I find, if I can say in my valedictory remarks, is that I find the fact that in the present system, the cabinet members really leave it to the officers, and I just think that if you're the cabinet member for whatever area, I don't want to pick on anyone in particular, I think you should take if you think got some limited assurances or no assurances, I would have thought the cabinet member should be here listening to it and so on, and the leader, Councillor Cornelius, has done that in the past time. So I think the people should get their hands dirty, I think, of the cabinet members. However, we're now moving into a committee system, and so that really is a new ball game. And so I think, and hopefully those that continuing, assuming they all get re-elected or elected, that they will actually look at the committee system and get their hands dirty at the committee system. So that's where I think it is. So in a sense, yes, but I think it's the system is changing. Come on, carry on. It's probably all right. There's time. Yeah, come on, carry on.
Does the chairman think that in the light of the damage that the overzealous parking enforcement by NSL is having on the council's reputation, and we're now 40% through the contract and it clearly isn't working, that instead of trying to fix it, that it should be brought back in-house so that it can be better managed under much closer supervision than with elements of it spread across Sheffield, Worthing and Croydon, and so that it will generate local employment?
Personally, I would agree, but it's a decision of the administration of this council what it does. It really isn't an audit board. It really is I would personally agree, but it's not an audit. Right.
Question 5, after this one we get shorter. The chairman is probably aware that before the recent appointment of a permanent parking infrastructure manager, we had long-term tenures by interim managers, which must lead to more short-term rather than long-term thinking. So does the chairman agree that having so many interim managers and temps in so many positions in the council, in order to save on redundancy pay following outsourcing, was a flawed decision?
Having served in Parliament on a select committee which just ended on the use of personal service companies, which has produced a weighty, glossy report, which is like without really a conclusion at all, because there are so many pluses and minuses. I don't like the continual changes in employees. I think it is detrimental. However, that does seem to be a career decision whether you're using permanent employees or contract employees. I'm afraid people do seem to move around an awful lot nowadays. I don't know the answer to your next question.
Key question.
How much performance payment was paid to NSL for 2012-13? If Councillor Cook wants to remember that, you can ask it during the committee meeting, and maybe someone might ask if that officer might be able to answer. I'll remind you rather than you can rush me. I think you want to, but someone will ask the question. Go on.
It's from the answers, it's clear I want to see the full audit report. Can it now be sent to me, please?
I will request that it is sent.
Thank you. And finally, question number 8. I asked for the benefits realisation plan from May 12. The document produced clearly isn't, as it contains items from 2014. Can I please have what I asked for?
I will let you, let the officers respond to their further questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's great. Highly valuable.